Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Village Board of Trustees meeting for Monday, April 15th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Reverend, please read standing, please, for all the military all over the world fighting for our freedoms. Please sit down, please. Roll call of trustees. Trustee Alpert?
Present.
Trustee Corrigan?
Present.
Trustee Hogue?
Present.
Trustee Osborn?
Present.
Mayor Curley's president. Upcoming meetings, we have a regular meeting scheduled for Monday, April 29th, 2024 at 7 p.m. And we have a regular meeting scheduled for Monday, June 3rd, 2024 at 7 p.m. Can I have a motion for approval of the February 29th, 2024 Board of Trustees special meeting, please?
Trustee Corrigan.
Motion made by Trustee Corrigan. Can I get a second, please?
Second, Trustee Alpert.
Second made by Trustee Alpert. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Can I have a motion for approval of the March 4th, 2024 Board of Trustees meeting minutes, please?
I'll make that.
Motion made by
Trustee Osborn.
Trustee Osborn. Can I get a second, please?
Second, Trustee
Second made by Trustee Hogue. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. At this point, I want to bring up the fire chief because he just has to run through something real quick. So, Jeremy, if you come up real quick, please. I'm just going to move where the agenda is, the form of the agenda. He's our fire chief here, and he was out partying all night Saturday, so he's probably a little tired still.
Good evening, Village Board. Just a few items for the board's approval this evening. The first is going to be accepting the 2023 LoSAP Final Service Award report.
Okay, I'm going to ask for a motion. The LoSAP report is actually the retirement plan that the firefighters have, with the village for the great service that they do. So can I please have a motion, please, accepting the 2023 LoSAP Final Service Award report, please?
Trustee Corrigan.
Motion made by Trustee Corrigan. Can I get a second, please?
Trustee Hogue.
Seconded by Trustee Hogue. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We're going to do the next three all in one. We'll do a consent agenda,
Sure.
all three hirings. We'll mention all three of their names. Is that okay?
Yep. So it's a resolution to accept the following members to the Hook and Ladder: Daniel Kenny, Michael Spataro, and Quincy Harris.
Can I have a motion, please, to accept Daniel Kenny, Michael Spataro, and Quincy Harris in the Volunteer Hose and Hook and Ladder Company number 1, please? Motion, please.
Motion, Trustee
Motion made
Alpert.
by Trustee Alpert. Can I get a second, please?
Trustee Osborn.
Second made by Trustee Osborn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Chief. All right?
Thank you, guys. Obviously, this is my last meeting, so I just want to say thank you all for your support.
The last...
What was that? I didn't hear what he said. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to thank the village board for the past 4 years as my term as chief. This is going to be my last meeting, so
Terry
thank you.
Kaufer has been a firefighter for... He's been a firefighter for many years in this village, and he actually kept the chief's position even longer than mostly it goes to help fulfill some duties that we have here. And this, I personally thank you. It's been nothing but an honor to work with, and as well as this board. Thank you, sir. All right?
Thank you.
I do as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your service.
Now we'll do the police department, please. Chief Loughlin, please.
Good evening, board members. In the month of March, the police department responded to 867 calls for service. I have 3 agenda items tonight for the board's consideration. The first agenda item is a request for the board to authorize Mayor Curley to execute an addendum to the collective bargaining agreement between the Village of Suffern and the Suffern Policemen's Benevolent Association.
Sure. Can I have a motion, please, for to amend the collective bargaining agreement between the Village of Suffern Policemen's Benevolent Association, Inc. for the period June 1, 2021 to May 31st, 2025, please? Can I have a motion, please?
Trustee Corrigan.
Motion made by Trustee Corrigan. Can I have a second, please?
Trustee Osborn.
Second made by Trustee Osborn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. My second agenda item is a request for the board to promote Officer Michael Careswell to the position of sergeant. At this time, I would like to invite Officer Careswell up to the podium with me. Officer Carswell joined the U.S. Army as an infantryman in 2006. He was deployed in 2007 as a member of the 101st Airborne in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. He is a recipient of the Combat Infantry Badge, Army Commendation Medal, Iraq Campaign Medal with Campaign Star, Army Good Conduct Medal, and the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, among other awards for service. In 2010, in 2010, he served as an infantry fire team leader with the New York National Guard's Fighting 69th Infantry Regiment in New York City, and that same year he became a police officer with the Amtrak Police Department. Officer Carswell joined the Suffern Police Department in 2014 and is currently assigned to the Patrol Division. In addition to his normal duties, he serves as the Department Field Training Officer, Firearms Instructor, General Topics Instructor, and Armorer. I believe Officer Carswell has the knowledge and leadership experience necessary to be an effective supervisor, and for that reason, I respectfully request that the board promote him to the position of sergeant at this time.
Thank you, Chief. At this point, I'd like to make a motion to promote Michael Carswell to sergeant effective April 16, 2024. Can I have a motion, please?
Trustee Osborn.
Motion made by Trustee Osborn. Can I have a second, please?
Trustee Corrigan.
Second made by Trustee Corrigan. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to invite Officer Carswell's wife, Nicole Carswell, up to the podium for Officer Carswell swearing in.
Come up on stage.
Sure, and presentation of his shield.
Can you please raise your right hand? I state your name.
I, Michael Carswell,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United
that
States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of sergeant
the duties of sergeant
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. Thank you.
My last agenda item for the board's consideration tonight is a request to promote Detective York to the position of sergeant. At this time, I would like to invite Detective Andrew York up to the podium with me. Detective York graduated from Suffern High School in 2006 and went on to receive his bachelor's degree in criminology and investigations from West Virginia University in 2010. In 2012, Detective York was hired by the Suffern Police Department as a dispatcher, leaving our agency in 2013 when he was hired full-time by the New York City Police Department. He was assigned to patrol in the 4-6 precinct in the Bronx until he was rehired by our department in 2014 as a police officer. In 2017, he was assigned to the Rockland County Intelligence Unit, where he worked on numerous major cases. In 2021, he was assigned as a detective in our agency, where he has done an exemplary job in conducting investigations, resulting in numerous arrests and closure for crime victims. I believe that Detective York's hard work and dedication to our agency, as well as the crime victims, along with the knowledge he has collected working on complex cases, has prepared him to be an effective supervisor within our agency. For those reasons, I respectfully request that the board promote him to the position of sergeant at this time.
How you doing, Chief? Thank you. At this point, I'd like to have a motion to appoint Andrew York to floating sergeant effective April 16, 2024. Motion, please.
Trustee Osborn.
Motion made by trustee Osborn. Can I have a second, please?
Second, trustee
Second
Alpert.
made by trustee Alpert. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. At this time, I would ask Andrew's mother, Mrs. York, Jean York, to come up to the stage for Detective York swearing in and the presentation of a shield.
Congratulations.
My turn to swear you. You're raising your right hand. I state your name.
I, Andrew York,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of floating sergeant
the duties of floating sergeant
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Get one with that.
Congrats, Gene.
Mr. Danville, can you come back up? I apologize.
Thank you for everything. Thanks for everything.
It's a requirement that the sergeants have to buy.
Thank you, Mike. Congrats, Mike.
Sergeants have to buy their wives diamonds. Thank you for telling me.
That's all I have for tonight, unless the board has any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just going to give them a minute. I don't think they want to hear the rest of my meeting, so I'm going to just let them leave. If anybody wants to leave and celebrate with them, more than welcome. If you want to stay, you're welcome too.
Steve, good seeing you guys. Good. Congrats. Did he have your first game in? Did he start?
He did on Stinted Saturday, but it got rained out. So he
Yeah.
has one tomorrow.
Brucey, can you close that back door, please, for me? Make sure you, thank you.
Beautiful. Oh, that's a definite keeper, Steve. I'm gonna get that framed and give it to her as a gift.
At this time, I'd like to open a public hearing to consider consider local law amending Chapter 254, Section 254-29 of the Code of the Village of Suffern, regulating parking permits required in the Village of Suffern. I will let the village attorney speak on this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Very simple local law, clearing up some discrepancies in the local law as compared to the way things happen on the ground. In particular, stating that the maximum, that a permit's required for parking for 2 hours or more in the various lots, and a couple of lots that were not listed in the local law as being subject to the parking regulations. So it's pretty simple cleanup local law.
So at this time, I'd like to make a motion, open up the public hearing in reference to the Section 2, Chapter 254. Motion, please.
Motion, Trustee Alpert.
Made by Trustee Alpert. Can I get a second, please?
Second, Trustee Hogue.
Second made by Trustee Hogue. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. At this point, if anyone have anything to say on that specific issue? Say it again. Okay, we'll do it. He'll speak up. Thank you.
Not sure why you couldn't hear, but okay. It's a pretty simple local law, cleaning up a couple of discrepancies between what's in the code presently and what the reality is. In particular, stating that a permit's required for parking in a number of the lots for 2 hours, and adding to the list of regulations a couple of village lots that were not included in the local law some number of years ago.
Is the list long that you're adding?
What was the question?
Is the list long that you're adding? Just speak up.
No. I think the only one that's added is Lot H that wasn't in the local law itself. And the local law provides 2-hour parking in lots A, B, C, and D, Monday through Friday between 6 and 4.
That's it, Terry?
Simple local law. It's just
Okay.
2 hours.
No, I just wanted to know what it included. Thank you.
Being there's no more comments, can I please have a motion to close the public hearing, please?
Trustee Corrigan.
Motion made by Trustee Corrigan. Can I get a second, please?
Trustee Osborn.
Second made by Trustee Osborn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. At this point, being that it's past 7:10 p.m., we're going to have a public hearing to consider the adoption of the 2024-25 tentative budget, and I'm going to call up our treasurer, Michael Genito, to give us a report on that.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. We respectfully present tonight, April 15th, 2024, a summary of the June 1, 2024 through May 31, 2025 tentative budget for tonight's public hearing on that budget. The tentative budget was submitted by the mayor to the village clerk and by the village clerk to the village board and posted to the village's website on March 4th of 2024. The general fund finances the services provided by the village other than those associated with water and sanitary sewer operations. The tentative general fund budget provides for a 0% tax increase. General fund appropriations will increase approximately $607,000 or 3.8% over the current year's adopted budget. Increases in retirement costs, health insurance, and other employee benefits account for about 1/2 of that increase. The other half can be attributed to the 2% per year cost of living increase provided under the new PBA contract that was successfully negotiated this year to replace the contract that expired May 31 of 2021. It should be noted that the budgets adopted for the current and the prior 2 fiscal years did not reflect those PBA costs of salary increases. General fund estimated revenues, other than real property taxes, will increase approximately $205,000 or 5.1% over the current year's adopted budget. We are including a very conservative estimate of $150,000 from interest earnings. This is based on the continued high level of interest rates and the amounts we can keep on deposit. Various other estimated revenue lines increase or decrease for the balance. This budget also includes, for the first time, the first of 4 annual $127,000 post-community benefit payments to the village by Regeneron. The village taxable assessed valuation will actually rise rather dramatically by $4.9 million, or 3.3%. Normally, we have seen it rise only a portion of a percentage. But this is primarily due to the fact that the former Avon properties, when Avon terminated its pilot in April of 2023, they went back onto the tax rolls for this year. And so they are going to increase that taxable assessed valuation. Together with the appropriations and estimated revenues that we talked about, this allows us to maintain the same tax rate of $91.09 per thousand taxable assessed valuation. The Water Fund finances the cost of operating and maintaining the village's water treatment plant and distribution system. Water bills are issued in November and May of each fiscal year. The Water Fund appropriations are going to rise $73,000, or 3.2%, primarily due to the increases in salaries and contractual costs. Contractual costs are those associated with materials, supplies, and services needed to maintain standards that are set by the Department of Environmental Conservation and the Department of Health. Estimated usage of water, based on a recommendation of the Office of the State Comptroller, will be reduced, and as a result, the water rates will increase approximately $2.16 per month for the average household. Now, on the Sewer Fund, which finances the costs of operating and maintaining the village's sanitary sewer and collection system, the Sewer Fund appropriations will rise $318,000, or 10.8%. Approximately $197,000 of this amount is due to the increase in principal and interest due on a $11.2 million bond anticipation note from the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation. The note was renewed from March 7, 2024 through December 31, 2025 at an annual interest rate of 3.2%. Previously, the 2-year note that preceded it, we received some very favorable financing at 0.32%. So that $197,000 is the cost of increasing that rate from 0.32 to 3.2%. Another $116,000 of the increase can be attributed to the cost of sewer treatment chemicals, utilities, and repairs and maintenance. Estimated revenues will remain approximately the same, other than the sewer rents themselves, and the sewer rents are estimated to increase approximately $8.67 per month for the average household. The Debt Service Fund, which is also in our budget, provides for the payment of principal and interest on the village's serial bonds and is funded with transfers from other funds and available debt service fund balance. The total appropriations of $1,088,000 remain relatively the same as the current year adopted budget, and will be funded by $815,000 of transfers in from the general, water, and sewer funds, and $273,000 of appropriated debt service fund balance. We also include in our budget a list of proposed capital projects. Now, these capital projects, which total at this time $3.8 million, are strictly for informational purposes only. Before any capital project is actually undertaken, resolutions of the village board must be adopted to approve the project and identify and authorize the project's appropriations and source of financing, which may include the adoption of bond resolutions in addition to other resolutions. Also included in the budget are various schedules that provide additional details on salaries and wages, short and long-term debt, and budgetary limitations set by the state. We also should mention that every year we have a budget review by the Office of the State Comptroller. On March 31 of 2016, the village issued $3.8 million of deficit financing bonds that will mature on March 15, 2026. The village is required to submit its tentative budget to the Office of the State Comptroller for review. The OSC publishes a report on its findings and, as deemed appropriate, its recommendations. On March 10th of 2023, the OSC began its review of this tentative budget, and on April 12th, 2024, published a document entitled Village of Suffern Budget Review B24-6-3. That report, which was posted on the OSC and Village websites on that day, April 12th, noted, and I quote, "Based on the results of our review, we found that the significant revenue and expenditure projections contained in the tentative budget were reasonable," end quote. They also stated, quote, "The village's tentative budget includes a tax levy of $12,533,658, which is within the limit established by law," unquote. Additional information, following tonight's public hearing on the tentative budget, the village board may make additional adjustments to the appropriations, estimated revenues, taxable assessed valuation, or other items in the budget document as deemed necessary and appropriate. The adoption of the 2024-2025 budget is scheduled for our meeting of April 29th, 2024.
Thank you.
That's it, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Genito, okay? At this time, I'd like to, this time I'm going to make a motion, open up the public hearing in reference to this. Have a motion, please?
Trustee Corrigan?
Motion made by Trustee Corrigan. Can I have a second, please?
Second, Trustee Alpert.
Second made by Trustee Alpert. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. At this time, anyone from the public has a right to say, come up and make any comments you want, and then Mr. Genito will be up there to answer any questions. This time, anyone want to come up, feel free to come up to the microphone. Speak loud. Speak your name and your address, please.
Mike, you're the best. Okay. Looking at this budget, there's some good stuff in there, and there's some deplorable stuff in there. Each one of you trustees, if I'm not mistaken, has a full-time job? Okay.
No.
Okay. I don't know you that well, Miss Denis-Hogue.
Two of them.
Excuse me? I didn't hear you.
I work more than full-time in the village. That I will let you know.
You as I was 20 years ago.
Maybe.
Correct?
I know I did. That's
correct?
I don't know if
Let the attorney answer that question. Was I full-time?
Yes, yeah.
Thank you very much for clearing that up. I made $25,000. That's not here or there. The only reason I bring it up is when we ran for office, me and you knew what the salary was. Okay? Each of you, except for Miss Denis-Hogue, I hope I'm saying your name right, have full employment. Why do you need a $3,000 raise in your stipend? You don't work full-time, you're not here 5 days a week, you're not here 3 days a week, you're not even here 2 days a week. And as far as meetings, we used to have 2, but Mayor Curley said we didn't need a workshop anymore, so you have 1 meeting. Mr. Alpert, you have fought every budget since you've been on this board. What do you think of some of these raises on this budget?
Let me just rephrase that. I didn't fight last couple budgets when we had a 0% tax increase.
Okay,
So
prior to that, you fought every budget.
I did fight the budgets.
So
that's
you're
correct.
telling me this is radically better than any budget in all the years you've been on this board?
I think it's a very sound budget. I think that it's, you know, if let's just take it from a perspective of timeline, right? So I believe 2008 was the last time that the salaries for any board members were
I'm aware.
raised. So obviously, I'm not saying that, like, I'm essentially okay, you know, I think it's a very small salary for the trustees, compared to the mayor or whatever, but adjusted for inflation and everything else, it's certainly...
I'm glad you brought inflation up. Keep going.
You know, and I'm just saying, it's not, I don't think it's an unreasonable amount. It's only a few $1,000s.
Okay, so you feel it's not unreasonable. You're entitled to your opinion. How about you?
I've been on this board for many years, and I
I
guess
know.
you're forgetting about the fact that it was actually decreased.
It was, but
Yes,
then
it
it was
was.
brought back up.
No, it was
No,
not
it
brought
was
back.
not.
It's never been brought back.
Okay.
And I'm not quite
I
sure how
stand
many
corrected on
hours,
that point.
you know that I work for the village. So I'm not quite sure how many hours you know that what I do for this village and when I do what I do for the village.
Do you work
As
here?
my
Do you work
trustee.
here full-time?
I am not a full-time
Thank you.
employee
That was
of
the
the
question.
village. And as a full-time village employee, I would not think that the $700 or the $1,200 would allow me to live in the village of Suffern as a full-time
Another
position.
point I'm glad you brought up. Okay, I'm not going to ask you, you're new to the board.
I'll just answer one question. You mentioned inflation, okay?
No, no, I didn't. They
No,
did.
No, and you said good point. Well, it hasn't been adjusted for years and years, Jim. And before 2008, there wasn't salary adjustments for many years. And as you noted, you didn't note that actually the salaries were taken down some years back for these trustees. I wasn't on the board, okay?
And the mayor's salary was taken
it's not-
down
It's not
also.
actually a true raise being there. And then
Mike,
go
you're
back to-
preaching.
What year were you mayor? May I ask, sir?
You're preaching to the choir.
Well,
I
I'm not-
know the
I'm not-
salary went
Sir,
down and
sir,
then it
you asked
went
the
back
question. You
up.
want me to answer? I won't answer then. Go to the next one. You want me to answer? Thank you.
No, you can answer, but I'm just saying.
Okay, what year were you here on the board?
I'm sorry?
What year were you mayor?
What year? I left in 2005.
2005, okay? So
No
I was
mayor
getting-
raised their
I was getting-
salary till you.
Listen, I was getting 27,000, okay?
Exactly.
The mayor of, I go into, the mayor of Chestnut Ridge is making 90,000 with assistants.
I
I'm
don't
making
care
about
what
the same as
Chestnut
a-
Ridge makes.
So
This is Suffern.
And this village had things that had to be corrected. I've spent 60 to 70 hours in this building alone, weekends also, besides going to events. I put this village in a very good position with the help of these board members, with some department heads, and especially Mike Genito. And this village is strong, it's in good shape, and it's not just a raise that I want for myself, it's a raise for the next person that comes in, so you have a qualified person. You have more issues going on in this village than you ever had, more situations than you ever
Really?
had, okay?
Really?
Yes, correct, yes, Mr.
We had a
Chief.
pension
Yeah,
increase
Mr.
that put us in
Giantino,
debt.
I'm not going to argue, you want to listen to my answers?
Well, you don't want to hear the other
Sir,
side of it.
Sir, you can't have the questions and the answers. That's it. I said my piece. I think I
Okay.
worked.
So I will say my piece. I have been on this board for many years.
Okay.
And I have said to each and every mayor that I have served under that this salary is extremely low. We cannot attract anyone who cannot afford to live in the village and have a thriving business to be able to be mayor.
Okay, I'm not going to dispute,
So-
I'm not going to dispute
Then
what you're
I'm not
saying.
quite sure, Jim, what you're accusing us of.
I'm not accusing you of anything. The only thing I'm trying to state is, I have no problem if you get a 3% increase every year.
You do.
We don't get a 3% increase every year. That's been established.
Excuse me, I can't talk for what happened 5 years ago. I'm saying, if you feel that you're underpaid, put yourself in for a 3%, and next year, put yourself in for a 3%.
I don't think that board has any intention.
Excuse me?
I said, I do not believe that this board has an intention to get a 3% raise every year. We're talking about something that hasn't occurred since 2008. And me being on the board for these many years and seeing how this village has changed, Jim, and if you don't see the change
Oh, I see the
and the
change.
building and everything else that's gone on that has been a positive, and understand the work that is involved,
You're talking to somebody that was here 7 o'clock in the morning and went home at 6 o'clock at night. So don't tell me about work,
in
okay?
2005, and things change.
Really? Really, that drastically? What, you guys are putting in 18 hours a day?
Jim, do you have any more comments? or-
Yeah, I got a lot more
Well, Go
comments.
with your comments, not
Yeah.
your
Well,
arguments.
she wanted to answer.
No, Jim,
I'm
that's-
letting her answer.
Jim, just answer.
I have a
To
name.
your salary, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
You don't think it's a crime to raise your salary $52,000 in 1 year?
No, I do not think it's a crime. I think it's a necessary thing. The time I put in, the energy I put in, what I've done for this village in itself is incredible. Things you never would have got, and I'll say it straight out, you never would have got caught on because I taught you as you listened to me here, okay?
I'm sorry I didn't catch
I said I taught you as you listened to me, sir, okay?
I'm trying to listen to you.
I've done many things to benefit this village, and I will continue to do that, all right?
That's your job.
My own personal, I will sacrifice for this village. I've been coming to these meetings for over 30 years, and you go back and you see, and I'm doing things now in this village that I said needed to be done 30 years ago, and you can ask that because the man on the camera in the back actually looked it up and even pointed them out to me. So we have a great village. Do I think that the mayor or the future mayor deserves it also besides me? I do, okay? Because it wasn't done right.
Hindsight is 20/20.
I'm not done, Jim, please. I don't
Neither
think
am I.
I don't think it was done right, okay? I don't think everything was done right in the past, okay? And that's what I believe, okay? And there was a lot of things that should have been done differently that I shouldn't be doing now. From little things like parking lots that you didn't even know what they cost. So I can go on and on, but I'm here to go to the future.
Mike, I said you did some good things. Didn't I say you did some good things?
I think I'm doing a good job. I think it deserves that number. There wasn't raises. There was nothing for years and years. And I don't, when I'm staying or when I'm going. But the people voted me in, and I had this right, okay? And I've done my job, and I'll continue to do my job, okay?
You feel you have this right, but you answer to these people.
I answer to the public, the voters. You're 100% right, Jim, okay?
Every day.
So you're right. And I think the voters spoke loud and clear in this past election. I think they spoke loud and clear because I went and I talked to them. I answer emails all day long. I answered emails this weekend. On Easter, I went to houses for code violations. I do my job. And there are some people...
Did I say you don't do your
and there are
job?
some people who just ain't gonna like me no matter what.
You're getting awful upset.
And you're gonna see some of them speak tonight. But you know what? That's America, and they have that right to. But I not only
Let me know
take
when you're
action,
done.
I do follow up too. I do follow up. I don't just say it, I follow up and I continue on with it.
You're the only one that ever did that.
Thank you.
Yeah, in your dreams.
Just talk.
Let's go on. You're entitled to about 160% raise. These people out here have been asking for a 3% raise, which would cost you approximately $1,800 a person per year. $1,800, not $52,000.
This is why I say we're not negotiating.
Also, you got increased revenue, 4.5% according to Mike, and I never dispute Mike's figures. Did you count in the $650,000 that Brookfield paid to demo Novartis? Is that in that figure?
I don't know where that number came from.
Mike?
I don't have that number.
$650 for the demo of Novartis property? $600?
Well, I wasn't made aware that the building department had issued a permit and was going to be collecting $650,000, and in any event...
No such thing there is. No such thing in this village. It's incorrect. I said you're wrong. You're 100% wrong.
I sit at the meeting.
Sir,
They have
sir,
a fee of $650,000.
sir, let me ask you a question. If the job, let me educate you again. As I said, I'll do this when I have to. If a job is $650, we don't get a $650 fee. We get a percentage of $650.
Who gets the other percentage?
It's the job it costs them to do the job.
That's the fee they were told
Listen,
they have to pay.
I've never heard that number.
Well, talk to your planning.
No, I don't have to talk. There is no $650. You're incorrect, sir.
No, I'm not.
We collected no $650. Sir, Mr. Giantino, we collected no $650 fee. Do not mislead the public. It never happened.
Me mislead the public?
You're incorrect.
You're the guy misleading the public.
Okay, well, show me where it is. You looked at the budget. Just show it to us so we can sit down.
It's not in there. That's why I asked Mike what it wasn't in there for.
Are you accusing me or Mike Genito of lying, sir?
I'm not accusing you of any...
Well, I'm telling you it doesn't exist.
I'm telling you the revenue is higher than it is.
I'm telling you there is no demolition permit for $650,000.
Do you know what the revenue is on the two luxury...
Sir, you're incorrect.
Yeah, well, Mike wants to speak. I'll defer to him.
Well, I just want to make a comment here. First of all, I am not aware of a $650,000 contract where we were supposed to receive funding of that $650,000 guaranteed after June 1. In fact, I'm not even aware of a $650,000 fee. Well, if it is, but there is, even so, just like one of the problems in the past budgeting with the village, they put, for instance, the sale of a building that they believed was under contract to sell for $300,000, and it didn't happen. And that's what gives you a problem at the end of the year. So, as you know, I'd be as conservative.
This is a different situation. They are going to build, they did already demo, so it's not something that might not happen, it already happened.
Well, I haven't been aware, again, what the fee is.
Well, for somebody on top of everything...
I am on top of everything, and you're 100% wrong in your statement.
Yeah, prove it.
I don't have
I
to.
can prove
I
it.
can't prove an imaginary fact.
No, you're the imaginary
Sir,
fact.
you're incorrect.
Let's go on.
And this is the stuff I took over when I'm mayor, all the nonsense.
Yeah, you sound like Biden. They all did it before I got here.
Politics, sir. I'm here for truth.
Let's go on. The cost of living for food is up. Somewhere around 46%. 46% on your groceries. Eggs are up 100%, milk is up 40%. I could go on and on. I have a whole list here. They're not entitled to a raise so they can feed their family and pay a lot of them live here. They pay taxes here. They pay water bills here that went up. They pay garbage bills that went up. They pay sewer bills that went up. Tell me I'm lying. You want me to read the list of what went up on groceries? I'll read you the whole list. Okay, not a problem. I got nowhere to be. Orange juice went up from $2 to $4.29, 43%. Coffee from $6 to $8.09, 28%. White bread, $1.49 to $1.99, 33.5%. Chicken breasts, $4.99 to $7.99, 60%. Rice, 99 cents to $1.49, 50%. You want me to keep going? I could go all night. You know me. The question is, the cost of living went up. They can't live on a 2% raise, but they can get 30 and he can get 52,000. That's the question.
So just, I just want to make one statement here, okay?
Will you please address the board, not the audience?
Yes, but I want to make one statement here, just to kind of put facts with facts. Let's just talk, you asked me about the trustee raise that's proposed. Okay, so since 2008, let's forget the fact that it went down in 2015, let's just take the 2008 number. It's 16% increase in 16 years. It's actually less than 16% if you do the math, just under, it's 15 point something. In 16 years, that's 1% a year, not even. Okay, so you're complaining about a raise that's happening at one point in time, but it's actually to compensate for 16 years. I just want to be clear about that.
No, look, I would have had no problem you getting incremental raises, any of you.
But there hasn't been incremental raise. In other words, so let me go one step further. So
You've been running
this year,
for years.
Mr. Genito, you're big on one side on one of the parties. I'm big on one of the others. Okay. Are there any people running for trustee on the Republican Party this year?
I have no idea.
The answer is no, meaning to say that nobody wants to run for this job because it pays so low.
Money?
I do.
Okay. All right, you want to talk cost of living since you haven't gotten a raise? These people haven't gotten a raise in 2 years. The cost of living in '22 went up 8.7. The cost of living in '23 went up 3.2, for a total of 11.9, and you're going to give them 2%. What a sport.
I'm not involved in the negotiations, it's with the lawyers, so that
Well,
has to
why
be
is it
worked out.
taking 2 years to settle then? You should be involved. You voted in just like the mayor and anybody else that's on that board.
I understand. My understanding is that
Listen, I
the
negotiated a
attorneys are
police
working with this.
contract here, and Terry can tell you, I didn't drag it out for years. You try to do what's right for the village and what's right for you. These people make you look good.
I think they do a fantastic job.
Well, then reward them.
You want to do that or not?
That's it. I really don't want to do anything with you.
Jim, you're always a hard act to follow.
I'm sorry?
You're a hard act to follow. I got no notes. I got no notes. I know, I'll address you guys. I'll address you.
All right, speak up, but thank you.
Speak up?
We can't hear you. I couldn't hear you.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's a disgrace to give yourself a raise?
No.
It's a disgrace to give yourself a raise, Mayor Curley. How dare you? Yes, you want to make, and then to use the excuse that we haven't had quality people as mayors in this town.
Okay.
Well, we had a quality mayor last time. Mr. Marcunas seemed to be quality to me. Dagan LaCourt, I think I saw him here tonight. He was pretty good as well. Oh, sure, some of them, we have issues with, but don't insult the people that have run and held this office, please. Now, as far as the rubber stamps around you, you probably do own a raise. You do own...
Excuse me?
Thank you. You should get a raise.
I'm sorry,
you
what
should
was
get
your
a
name
raise.
and your address?
My name is Katie Bolger, 18 Rockland Terrace, Suffern, New York.
Thank you.
She helped to run that campaign against me. Just to put that on note, too.
Disgraceful.
Well,
You can vote in a raise. You
You're
can
right.
try to get a raise for the next guy, sir.
What's that?
You can try to get a raise for the next mayor, and if that's you, mazel tov. But you cannot give yourself a raise. No, that's not done. That's not right. Okay? That's just not done, and it's not right. Now, as far as the rest of you, yes, you should get a raise. But don't sit here and whine and complain when you control your own raises that you haven't gotten a raise. That's just plain, I'm saying it, stupidity that you haven't given yourself a raise in 18 or whatever years, okay? And maybe you have some new faces on the board and they'd like a little bit extra money. Joe, you're great. I love the fact that you're smiling so big. That's wonderful. You got some new faces. They don't want the job? They didn't know that the salary was so low? Well, maybe sometime they should be told what the job entails before they put their name on a board with somebody else popular at top and have nothing, absolutely nothing to do with sitting on behind that desk. Because I can't see what they did to get there, okay? And I watched it pretty closely, as you know. So that's all I have to say. Shame on you. I hope you don't get the raise. But I don't mind the next guy, if that's what we want. If we think a mayor should be full-time $90,000 a year, fine. Let's vote that for the next guy, but not for this one.
And shame on you for pulling down my election sign during the election. Shame on you. Okay?
Good evening, Mayor and Board. Just so everybody knows who I am, my name's Joseph Hunt. I'm the CSEA president here in the Village of Suffern. I want to thank you guys, well, besides you two, for the last 3 years of making sure our tax base gets a 0%. It really helps them out. But when it comes to the union, we feel that you did that 0% on the backs of us because we haven't had a contract in 2 years, and we've been trying to get in and out. I just want to make something clear. I'm not going to try to negotiate with Terry here because that's not fair. But, when we do put a lot of sweat and tears into it, and, we do love what we do, some of us have to move out because we can't afford to live here. All right? I want you to keep that in mind next time we go to negotiation. And Steve, thank you for your comment on that.
I think you guys do an amazing job. I'm going to say it again.
Just to point out, you just had a negotiation the other day with Terry Rice, as I recall, and you're still in negotiations, are you not? So negotiations are still going on with this union. Incorrect. That's incorrect. Joe, can you please just state, that you waited till May of last year because you wanted to, and I don't want to negotiate the contract now, I'm not going, but you waited because you wanted to see what the police received. Is that correct?
The contract before this one, I jumped everybody. They got 13%, I got 8%. So I felt that they were out first, we were out second. We would wait for them. The 2% is not justifiable for us.
So
we're a lot lower.
Negotiations didn't start at all till last May because the union chose to wait till the police contract was settled. So it's not 2 years on my part, okay? It's not even a year on my part, just so you know, or the board's part. But thank you. We're still in fair negotiations with you. We just had meetings, they just had meetings, and they will continue to have meetings.
Al D'Ambrosio, 4 Cross Street,
Hold on one
Suffern,
second,
New
they're
York.
leaving. I just want,
Well, I want to make sure you can hear
While
me.
they're leaving, I can't hear
Are you
you.
talking to someone back there?
Yeah, they're leaving. No, I'm talking
Well,
to you.
let them leave.
You're leaving.
Just wait till they close the door. No, they're leaving. But all that noise they're making.
Got it. Fair enough. I can understand you now.
I just want to be able to hear you, sir. That's why I asked you to wait.
That's fair. Thank you. Mr. Mayor and all of the associates relative to...
Speak into the mic. Pull it to you.
Oh, I think that's a good idea. Answer the first part. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. By the way, I've said it in the past when I did come by here, the system here, speakers, and on your podium is the pits. It's never clear. Now, of course, you all could take a course in speech and how you sound over it. That requires reversing it. But
Okay,
once
this
you
is a
had
budget
it down,
hearing now. Let's
it
just
would
stick
work
with the
better
budget.
for us out in the audience. Now I'm going to start saying what I have to say.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I heard a lot of talk here about what you guys had accomplished on certain things, and there was a lot of maybes. If this changes, it's still in the works. So we really don't know what is what in the audience as to what you accomplished, except that you did give yourself raises. I respect that, that's a fact. Now, my point of concern is, I happen to have a lot of need to go down to the Department of Public Services to get sometimes barrels, sometimes information, sometimes where I've received a notice that I did a violation, and they were right. So I learned a lot from them, and I watch from them, and I see how they are and what they do. I remember when we had that damn truck went over the side there, and if it went down, a lot of our town wouldn't be here because of the explosives that were there. This was on the edge, right on the edge of the ball field and all of that. It was a terrible thing. We were lucky. But they put their lives at risk every day also. And so I respect them for what they do and what I've seen them do. I know all of you people here theoretically, I don't want to say you're eggheads, I'll just say you're intelligent. And therefore, that means you know what you're doing. But it doesn't mean what you're doing is right. I feel the workers, I'll use a commie term, the workers around the world all deserve positives, but here in America, if you work hard underground or on the ground working for the town, you deserve a raise as well as any of the eggheads or the people, etc., who are behind the podium who earn theirs. You earned it anyway, and you're not getting anything except put up with this. I don't care about an 18 amount of time of years given. I worked for AIG for about 30, 35 years. And believe me, I got shafted many times, and I took it. So if you got shafted or were ignored, that's TS. But at the same time, the workers here who work for all of us, they should not be shafted. If they need a 2 or 3% raise, damn it, they should get it. Why? The nation is broke. And you know it and I know it, but there you are spending money for yourselves. Spend it on them too. Thank you.
Just so you know, they're in negotiations. So.
That's all I have to say. I covered
Thank you.
the blind subject. That was saying that the workers who are working
Yes.
in the department down below,
Thank you.
ground, etc., they should
Thank
have
you.
the same sort of a raise also. Not 2%, or if you gave them nothing. I don't know what you gave them. You gave them nothing.
Hey, it's good to be here. Dagan LaCourt, Burlington Avenue. It's like deja vu all over again. So yeah, great to be here. First time in a while at a meeting. I'd just like to say off the board, off the bat, as a taxpayer, I think it's great that 3 years in a row that there's been no tax increase. That's no easy feat, and I don't think there's any municipality out there that's done that. Look, I've known the mayor for a long time. We've been friends, but we've also had disagreements on stuff. And when he got elected, like many people, you want to see what the person's going to do. And I think he's done a phenomenal job at a very critical point in this village. We have Avon who left, and that could really pose a huge issue with an empty commercial building at a time when there's not real demand for commercial buildings. And the fact that Regeneron is coming in, which multi-billion-dollar company that's growing unbelievably, that's committing many more jobs than existed at the time Avon left, is a huge win. And on top of that, the Novartis property, same type thing. The fact that you have developer coming in and committing, I believe, several $100 million to that facility, and that there'll be significant tax dollars and jobs is huge. On top of that, you have 2 buildings, residential redevelopment in the downtown. If anyone remembers when I was mayor, I was a big proponent of that. And to see on top of the Sheldon 2 more new buildings that are going to keep people in the area who are selling their homes and also bring in new families is really quite a feat. In terms of a raise, I personally, as someone who served as mayor, I have no problem with that, because this is not an easy job. And you can't expect people to work as hard as they are. Because the thing about mayor is, if you could put in 10, 20 hours a week, and people aren't going to realize the difference right off the bat, right? The police department's still going to show up, the lights are still going to come on, the garbage still going to be picked up, but the question is what happens in the future? And right now, when we had these major things where you have 2 major employers leaving the village, it could have very easily gone in a different direction. And so I commend the board for this. And again, that aside, the fact that you're delivering 3 years of no tax increase, which I don't think there's any municipality in the area that has ever done that, or in this village, really is saving the taxpayers thousands of dollars. And as someone who has a residential property here, and also on a commercial property, that's huge. To be able to not have those tax increases is a really big deal. And just the last thing I'd like to say is, look, I see the members of the CSEA here, and they are the backbone of this village, and they work very hard, and I do have confidence that this board will come up with a fair and equitable contract, because they do a great job, and that's what makes Suffern what it is. And again, it's great to see same old faces come up here. It's save some of that raise for therapy, because 10 years later, and I'm still in therapy in large part due to scars that I earned from being on this board. But thank you all for your service, and wish you all the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor LaCourte.
Sarah Horn, 23 Yorkshire Drive. Thank you, board, for your service. Thank you for the 0% tax raise over the last couple years. My suggestion is everybody deserves a raise every year. You come to work, you do your job, you do it well, you deserve to get an incremental raise. Because you haven't had one for such a long time, it is a little bit of shock and awe to people to hear the number that you're getting. But Trustee Alpert, I appreciate you breaking it down the way you did. I lived in a building in downtown, and when I moved in, I was paying common charges. And those common charges weren't raised from the time they did the offering plan. So guess what? When I moved in, there was shock and awe because they put a huge increase, but it needed to be done because it was never done. So going forward, I would build those into your budget. Like if you work for a corporation, raises are part of an everyday thing. So build that in going forward so it's less shock and awe to the people when you say you're getting incremental raises. As far as the CSEA, you're still in negotiations. I hope that those negotiations go well and those people get the percentage of raise that they are due to. I've sat in this Village Hall and listened to your board meetings, what happened with Suffern Little League. At the tail end of it, everything came out on the up and up. So I hope that happens for the workers. And I have to say, it's really pathetic that people come in, say what they have to say, and then get up and leave and not listen to anybody else. I think that's just really, really sad. But that's just me. I do have another issue, but I'll wait for that to come back around.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Maddie McBain, 72 Lonergan. I live in Squiresgate. I have basically some complaints about the area. I'm one of the residents since 1988, and now
Is this on the budget? Is this on, it's got, it has to be on the budget specifically.
Okay.
There's a budget,
I did
you can't.
Okay.
It's official record.
Regarding the raise, I see the union members out front. They are the service. They're representing the town. I agree, all of you deserve a raise. Even as a senior citizen, believe it or not, I get a cost of raised living, 1%. I've had to learn how to live and eat. I can't go out and spend. But what gets me sad is that big number going from here to there. I don't think you could go on your past anymore. The past is gone. So start now, but within reason, within your conscience, thinking of the residents. Within your conscience, how would you feel on this side? So I applaud you, Mayor, your services are wonderful. I know I can count on you whenever I see you. It's great. But I'm here as a wife who's someone that belonged to a union. He also went 3 to 4 years without a contract. And every time the mayor was getting raises and all that, just consider the people who are sitting here. Change the number and put the past in the past. Thank you.
As I said, we're in negotiations, and that's how we'll keep proceeding in good faith.
Suzanne Joyce, 35 Oakdale Manor. The only part that, aside from the raises, I'm not going to get into that, but anyway, if I'm correct, that if the numbers were correct, the water bill's going up again?
Yes.
I pay a lot for my water bill right now, and I did have my one son living home. He moved out, and my other son is up at college the other part of the time. I'm still paying the same amount. It doesn't matter. And it's just a little ridiculous because, I mean, it's like one of my major bills. You know, it's almost as high as Orange and Rockland, and I'm sure a lot of you can understand how high Orange and Rockland is. So, I don't agree on that. I know we have to, replace the water plant, do whatever you're doing, the whole thing like that. But, I mean, you just had a raise in that part of the water bill, and to do it again, it kind of puts a strain on a lot of people, especially if you're not using that much water. So, I don't know. So if you want to look into at least my address, what's going on, whatever, and it just seems like it keeps increasing ever since you have your phone in now. Before it was like more of a steady thing.
Yeah. Susan,
now,
what's your address? What I'm going to do is I'm going to refer to the water department to come and they can check your meter for you.
Okay, it's 35 Oakdale Manor.
35 Oakdale Manor?
Because like I said, now my one son's out, my other son is in college most of the time. He's only really there for the summer.
You worked for the village prior, so you know what departments, right? I think you were...
Yeah.
So Charles Sawicki can get Stan and then to go and check your meter. We'll
okay.
Do that. Okay.
All right, I appreciate it.
We got the address, and we'll send it.
All right. I'm just saying, if it keeps going up, it's like one of my major bills.
We do this all the time. It's a constant thing around the village.
I know you gotta have water, but,
We'll check your meter.
I'm gonna not shower anymore.
Any other comments? Being none, I want to make a motion to close the public hearing for the budget, please.
Trustee Osborn.
Motion made by trustee Osborn, second, please.
Trustee Corrigan?
Second made by trustee Colton, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. At this time now, I want to have a motion to open up the public hearing to establish sewer rents and water rates. But you already spoke on it, Mrs. Joyce, we got you. Mr., can I have a motion, please?
Motion, trustee Alpert.
Motion made by trustee Alpert, can I have a second, please?
Second, trustee
Second made by trustee Hogue, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, motion passes. Mr. Genito, the water and sewer, we done with that?
Yes, Mayor, as we had described before, the water rates and the water bills and the sewer bills go out in May and November of each year. And so this would establish the rates for the June 1, 2024 to May 31, 2025 period of time. The rates that we charge for water and sewer start with a basic rate, and that's for the water. It's up to 10 units of water. So there's a minimum amount that everybody pays just to have the service to the house, and that pays for this service to the meter and then the meter itself, which is maintained by the water department. We're talking about primarily residential homes. Because when you get to commercial properties, then who owns the meter and how they're responsible for the replacement is typically with the large company with a large meter. So the rates are then tiered. So it goes from 10 units up to 70 units. And that covers pretty much most single and two-family homes in the village, so that somebody that goes from that period of time, and then over 70 units is a higher rate because there's a much greater usage of water, and typically that's used by people that are using a lot of water in a commercial establishment, such as a laundromat, car wash, maybe restaurants even, that sort of thing. So the sewer rates are based on the water usage on the May bill. And the reason why we do that is because the May bill is covering the winter months. So it's not the water that somebody is typically watering their lawn with or washing a car, if anybody does that anymore, but that sort of thing, right? So the bills for the rates for the sewer are very similar. We have one rate for the people that live within the village limits, and then we have other rates for the people that live outside the village limits. But there's only a very small number of those that purchase the water outside of, or use the sewer service outside the village of Suffern. That's basically it, Mayor. As we mentioned, the average increase to the average home, and that's based on the number of units that most homes use. As we said with the water fund, it's going to go up about $2.16 per month. And with the sewer fund, it's going to go up to about $8.67 a month. Now, just to reiterate about those two funds in particular, they provide, the water department provides clean, potable water and is under regulations of the Department of Environmental Conservation as well as the Department of Health. Likewise for the sewer department. They have to follow a number of rules that are established by the DEC, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Department of Health. If they do not operate properly and within the limits prescribed by the laws and regulations of those agencies, they can be subject to significant fines in the tens of thousands a day for, let's say, a sewage spill that wasn't treated properly, or water that was not treated properly before it was distributed. The village of Suffern is somewhat blessed in that we have a good working water treatment plant that draws its water from an aquifer, and our biggest issues with the aquifer are chlorides, which can be better described by someone like Charles Sawicki, but nonetheless there are certain chemicals that are in those waters that we treat and bring it within acceptable limits for distribution. The public has probably heard a lot about PFOS or PFOA, depending on, or PFAS. Those are the forever chemicals. Those are the things that were found in Teflon, for instance, and they're also in other products. And unfortunately, they call them forever chemicals because they break down from the surfaces and they get ingested into your system. And then they never leave your system. and they are yet to determine what the long-term health effects of those are. And right now, I mean, just recently, on the national news, was the crisis being faced by several water companies across the nation with the fact that they have PFOS, PFOA in their systems. Now, the village of Suffern actually has detected a very small percentage of PFOAs, PFOS, and, however, it's below the limits that are currently considered unhealthy. So in other words, they can process the water and distribute it. But the village is also blessed in the fact that, believe it or not, a long time ago, and I believe it was in the 1980s, maybe the late 80s, the village had a different contamination in the water system, trichloroethylene. And for that, they had to build a very expensive carbon filtration system to run that water through the carbon filters before it could be distributed, and it cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that. They did succeed in reducing and removing all of the contaminants, and those carbon filtration filters went into mothball state, in other words, put aside, not to be used until very recently, when the PFOA was brought to our attention about a year ago. We determined that those filters might be able to be used, and in fact, we had an engineer do a report, and we are going through the process of a $1.5 million project right now to rebuild those carbon filters to treat the PFOA, PFOS. And we got a grant as well from the EFC to do that. So anyhow, that's an introduction, just to understand. I know it's difficult because water rates go up, and the only thing I would say for anyone that lives in a household where they had 4 people living there or 3, and then suddenly no one's there except one person, and the rates, the water bill's still the same, that could very well be a leak in the system somewhere, even just a drip or a running toilet that you don't even realize is happening. But I just want to impress upon everyone that these systems that we have, we're lucky to have them here in Suffern, because we can take care of them directly. But they are very expensive to maintain, and we don't have a lot of control over what we can or cannot do. We cannot defer maintenance, we cannot defer an improvement when especially there's an issue with chemicals, other things like chlorides in the systems. That's basically my introduction on water and sewer.
Thank you, Mike, okay? Yeah, at this point, we opened up the public hearing. You're welcome to come on up again and speak, please. Come on up. Not from the audience. I can't hear you from the audience.
Water and sewer.
On water and sewer only, okay? Yes. But I will, as Mr. Genito pointed out, I will point out that we are actually ahead of the curve, and we are actually in the process now. We are about 4 points per trillion, and we're going to end up at 0 parts per trillion. Our water, when we had shut it off a while back, I don't know if you noticed, I had sent a thing about shutting it off. So I had done research even with Viola, which is the old United Water, and actually our water was safer than them. They had a waiver not to be safe. We had no waiver. We had to be on it. So our water department, actually under the guidance of Charles Sawicki, is doing a great job, and we already have planned, and these are things that we are paying for these things, with the carbon to keep the water safe for us for now and the future.
My question.
Go ahead, speak, please.
My question is to the gentleman to my left, and it may be applied to all of you. Since there are research institutions, organizations that have built plants of a sort with research and scientific backing that do work but are very expensive, why not have an amount of money allocated and suggested to all of the adjoining towns around through the efforts of the mayor and associates to chip in an amount of money that we all can, I don't give a damn how we get it, but chip it in that these plants are built. I remember when we had the AquaTurf, we were worried about losing it years ago before you were around here. Well, you were around, but
I was around.
You were like me at that time.
Yeah, I'm old now.
God bless you. In any case, something could be done sooner rather than later. I know we have, and we already know, those of us who do research, that we have so much stuff dropped by airplanes through contrails, some innocently and some with premeditation, that have effects on our water and kill a lot of things in it. And we've had regrets about that. But if you could address that problem of having these same kind of plants, money allocated to have it built in each state to solve these problems, more and more money would come, I think, once they see the effect of satisfaction, understanding the fear of what can happen of unproven after effects if it's not taken care of. That's about all. I'll pass your thought.
Thank you very much. Okay. I'd like at this time to close the public hearing for the sewer and water, please. Can I have a motion, please?
Trustee Corrigan.
Motion made by Trustee Corrigan. Can I have a second, please?
Second, Trustee
Second
Hogue.
made by Trustee Hogue. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. This time, I'm going to make a motion in reference to the local law to amend Chapter 254, Section 25429 of the Code of Village of Suffern under parking permits, please. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion, Trustee
Motion
Alpert.
made by Trustee Alpert. Can I have a second, please?
Trustee Osborn.
Second made by Trustee Osborn. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Grant program, Fred Rella, please. This is the guy that's got to get that technical thing that other gentleman was asking for. But Fred, just explain that we do have grants for PFO. Can you start out with that, different grants that are...
Yeah, we applied to the Environmental Facility Corporation a couple years ago for the...
Mike, we can't hear you, Fred. Get close.
We applied to the Environmental Facility Corporation of the state of New York a few years ago for a grant that Michael Genito was talking about to recommission our filtration system that was put in the late 80s. And that grant was for $320,000. So that's $320,000 that the taxpayers don't have to pay out of that proposed total cost of the project.
Thank you, Fred.
Yeah. The one program I want to talk about tonight, just briefly, is the Community Development Block Grant. The final application was submitted on April 8th. Okay, that's a project to repave West Maple Avenue and a portion of Meadow Avenue over in the West Ward. Total cost to repave that project is $150,000. We're asking for $134,000 because the village has to contribute a certain portion, approximately 10%, so that would be $14,000. 136 plus 14 is 150. So that application went in on April 8th. We will know whether or not we receive the award probably in July of this year, but we have to sign contractual agreements with the county and et cetera, and it takes time to get through the legislative body of the county and alike. So realistically, it won't be signed probably till November. So this is a project for the spring of 2025.
Can you tell us about the grant for Ed Fagan Drive, which is actually the Little League road going into Little League that we put in for in the community?
Yeah,
Tell us about that, please.
Yeah, the prior year we put in for a grant for Ed Fagan Drive, which is the main road through the athletic fields within the village, okay? So it goes from Ramapo Avenue to the DPW. That road is traveled by residents who are utilizing the fields all the time and have little kids and whatnot, as well as the DPW and their heavy-duty vehicles, everything from a pickup truck to a dump truck, which can weigh many tons. So the road has not been resurfaced in over like 15 years, and it has many potholes, cracks, crevices, and alike, and it's in extreme deteriorated shape. So we put in for a community development block grant for also $150,000 for that project. No, excuse me, the total cost of the project is $150,000, and we put in for a grant of $140,000 on that one, okay?
And we're receiving that one.
Right.
We got
right.
approved for that one. To go to the road going out of Little League is a mess, so we got a grant for that one. But, and I'll just start, you can finish off for me. Yeah. And those community block grants is based on the census. There's only a very small area where the census or the government, the county, they claim that it's not well off. So it's actually only goes on that side by the ball fields to the left, to the A lot. So they've actually over time, the area has shrunk what they say is in need, you might say. So we have no control over that. We only give those grants to that small area, okay?
That's correct, yeah. All right, that's it for tonight.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you again. Keep going for grants. All right, show me the money. Okay.
That's Fred.
Show me the money. Now, Cathy Mills, Culture and Recreation, please.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Village Board. A few things that we have coming up. This Sunday, April 21st, is the street fair in the village. It will be running from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Next Saturday, April 27th, is Keep Rockin' Beautiful. That will be at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. We have a lot of registrations already. If anyone is interested in registering, it's done at I guess you still say that, I guess, keeprocklandbeautiful.org. So if anyone still wants to register, the registration is still going on. On May 10th, Lifeline screening is going to be at the community center. They've been there in the past. They go around to different communities. They're going to be at the community center, so that's on Friday, May 10th. On Monday, May 27th, we had the Memorial Day Parade and ceremony and barbecue at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. And then in June, believe it or not, we're looking forward to June already. Monday evenings, we're going to have yoga in the park at 6:30. And then, I think I mentioned this last time, but it's a great event a great series to mention. The concerts, we're looking forward to the summer concerts again. Friday, June 7th, we're starting off with Reflections, the big band. Then Friday, June 28th, is Seeing Red. Then Thursday, July 11th, 8th grade science. Thursday, July 18th, Kurt Gallagher, who is our kids' concert, is always a big event here in the village. And Thursday, July 25th, we're going to finish up the season with Reflections, the big band. The concerts are at 7 p.m. They're also, they're at the gazebo. If the weather is inclement, they come inside to the community center. So we're looking forward to a good summer.
We added one concert, right, Cathy?
Sorry?
We added one concert.
We added two concerts, so we have 2 Friday dates in there.
Right.
And then we have 3 Thursday dates in there.
We started them off early this year, because I thought before some people go away, they can enjoy them too, versus everyone be on vacation. So that's where we added them. And I requested Reflections twice. They were big, I don't know, 18P. It's a great band, older time. And since I'm older, I can understand the music. Just when you do, I think I talked to you, so Keep Rockin' Beautiful. I just want you to get in touch with Jim Hart from Little League, because I want some people assigned down the ball field.
Okay.
And even Ramapo Avenue there, okay?
Okay.
And he'll have some volunteers there also. They may even be down there, okay?
Yep.
Try to get it cleaned up down there too, okay?
Sounds good.
Extra cleanup, not that it's not cleaned up, extra clean, always extra good.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, I'd like to make a motion to open up the public comment period. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion, Trustee Alpert.
Motion made by Trustee Alpert. Can I get a second, please?
Trustee Corrigan.
Second made by Trustee Corrigan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes. Who wants to come up?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Village Trustees. Matt DeLeo, 32 Maplewood Boulevard. First off, I want to start off by saying thank you to all of you for coming to an agreement with the Little League. It was great that we were able to get the kids playing. I know there was some rough waters. Mr. Mayor, you and I might have had a disagreement here or there, but it's only because I'm passionate about the kids and I want to see that they have a good time. That being said, again, thank you. Appreciate it. That being said, I live at 32 Maplewood Boulevard. Back on day before Thanksgiving, 2 days before Thanksgiving, we had a pretty good accident that crashed into the guardrail that we had placed a few years back. Myself and my wife, we fought pretty hard to get that guardrail. Mr. Sawicki was very helpful in getting that done for us, along with Joe and all of his workers. I appreciate them. They've worked very hard for the village, especially in snowstorms. Our hill is a little rough. Those guys are always on top of it, making sure that that's taken care of. Along with our garbage, streets always look great. Thank you to Joe, all his workers. Thank you to Mr. Sawicki for getting that guardrail. That being said, it's almost 6 months now that guardrail was demolished. I believe the proper way that had to go through the channels was the driver of the vehicle's insurance has to pay for that to be repaired. Can you guys give me an update on what's going on with that?
I personally spoke with the, and Charles has too, I spoke with the company that's doing that, okay?
Okay.
We actually ordered a better, more reinforced rail for that thing, for safety, and we were promised it's going to be done by the end of April, okay?
Great, thank you.
We couldn't plant the trees, we also left the trees there, which don't look great, but we did that for more reinforcement, and that was a decision I made because I was there that night of the accident,
Yes, sir,
okay?
I remember that.
And Charles looked at it too and said it would be safer. So we have been in communication with them, that's the company, but it's, unfortunately, everyone uses the word COVID too much, which I don't buy. I think it's just how a lot of those companies don't actually dig in the winter with the frost.
I was going to say, I know that the ground was frozen.
That's one of the main problems here. They actually just start working now, and I personally talked to the owner myself, and he said he'd be out there by the end of April and complete it, and then we'll do the trees all. We're going to put the chain, I think they were cherry trees. I don't remember if they were cherry. I'm not an expert on trees, but for some reason, I don't know why I think that.
No, they were. Yes, you're correct.
They were, okay. So we will put the same kind of trees there too.
Okay, thank you. So that was one point. The second point that I want to bring up pertaining to that accident. On Maplewood Boulevard, every other telephone pole has an LED Cobra light head on it. On the bend where that accident took place, there is no light. Unfortunately, the way that the staggering of the light poles is, there is no light on that bend. Are we able to look into possibly putting a light on that bend so drivers can traverse that turn a little bit better?
Charles, can you maybe even take the chief of police up there and take a look at that, where that curve is, and see what we can do, whether it's through Orange and Loughlin or through this new lighting program we're doing. I don't know if we can do it through that or not, but I will definitely look into it and get an answer back.
I appreciate
okay?
that. That would be great.
Safety is important to us. So we're not.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I don't want to repeat myself here. Originally, before we had the guardrails, we had like 3 or 4 cars go through the front lawn. Yeah, and right there is a bus stop for our kids, my kids, the neighborhood kids.
Your neighbor actually called the other day about this issue, and I purposely alerted all the girls in the office, if in case I'm not there, if they're called, let her know, it's supposed to be done, but I wanted them to know in case she called. I don't want to work.
That's James and Renee. I'll pass that information on to them as well.
I think they let her know, and I spoke with her prior too. I spoke with her probably in March.
Okay, thank you. And then my last question, and this isn't something I expect you guys to know, but one of my neighbors, one house north of me on Maplewood Boulevard, I believe the address is 34, has a sump pump that runs in his basement a lot. I know we've had a lot of rain lately, but it's been an issue over the past couple years, and it is eroding my backyard by quite a bit. I went to the village building department about a year ago, asked for some help with that. Nothing has been done. I'm starting to get really frustrated because my backyard is starting to become...
Did they go up and look at it, Dina?
They did.
Okay.
Yeah, and they spoke to the homeowner, and I believe they made suggestions to the homeowner, and they told me that if nothing was done, they would take that homeowner to court. I'm not looking to get anybody in trouble. I'm just looking to find out...
Did you get back to the building department after that?
I have not.
Okay, so they didn't know it wasn't corrected. So, Charles, could you do me a favor? Can you he'll give you that address too? And we go up, because unfortunately we have a little experience with these things, so we're getting there anyway.
There is, in my backyard, there is an easement for the water department. In my backyard, I have a very large manhole cover, and that constantly gets filled over with dirt from the amount that's like being eroded in my backyard. I mean, eventually, I'm sure it's going to make its way into the wastewater and everything like that.
Well, Charles is with knows a lot about, more about water than I do. I know
It's
it
just,
goes-
to me, it's like, when we moved in, it didn't look like that. I put a new fence in around the backyard, and now the dirt is about 3 inches up on the fence already. And it's starting to push on my fence, it's gonna damage my fence, and I don't need that extra expense with, you know.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the situation, so I'm gonna defer to Charles to find out, and we'll go from there, okay?
Thank you, I appreciate your time.
No problem.
Everybody have a good evening.
Thank you, Matt.
Meeting's closed.
Still Sarah Horn, still 23 Yorkshire Drive. 2 questions. One, the grant that you just spoke about for the paving, when is that going to occur? Because
Say that again?
The grant you just spoke about for the paving, the repaving of the lot, when is that repaving going to occur? Because we are in the heart of Little League season right now.
Listen, we'd make it where we don't hurt them, but we can choose when we do it, but we're almost there. We're waiting for a little more paperwork, and we'll have it done. So that's one of the grants we received, okay? The county's just a little slow at doing, so would I interfere with, I wouldn't interfere with the season to do it, let's put it that way.
Okay. So for next season...
Charles Sawicki, Joe Hunt works underneath him, they can just keep doing potholes to then, so it'll be done this summer or early fall.
Okay. And then I know I missed you the other day at my home. I was not there, but I heard from my other half that you stopped by. So I'm just curious as to know what is going on with my neighbors. Have they applied for a permit? Is it actually getting done?
Me and Charles Sawicki went to the house. We went, and we also came and talked to your, I don't know who he is, your friend, that's none of my business, okay? And we went to the house, and we went to the gentleman's house who, I think he was 19. And he actually was very helpful. He said, listen, I'm going to do it. He's going to put a driveway in. He's getting estimates, as I explained to your friend. Is it the husband? I guess your friend. Okay, so the husband. Okay. So I explained to the husband that the guy said he got an estimate. He's got 2 more estimates coming, and he was very nice about it, very respectful about it. He says, no. He says, I want to do it. I'm going to do it.
Okay.
And I firmly believed him what he said. I don't think he's put, and he said he has 2 more estimates coming, and he's going to be doing it. So I also noticed when I was there, which I didn't really get a report on, that 17 has there's a line there, and we might convince them to back up their line so it doesn't go on the road all the time, okay? Well, we looked into it. The Salvation Army actually owns that house, okay?
Okay.
And we're in touch with them.
Okay.
So because that's a separate problem for your backyard, this front yard problem, I noticed.
I look forward to the day when my backyard is not a swimming pool, and I don't have a swimming pool.
I got it. But he was I found him. Charles, can you come up and talk real quick, because you were with me also? But I actually believe this guy 100%. He recognized me as the mayor. He says, well, his wife loves me, so that was it. I think they're going to get his wife mad.
They close the front of their lawn up. It used to come out the front of their lawn. So once they close the
Use the microphone, I can't.
It's gotten worse because they had it coming out the front of their lawn, and once they closed the front of the lawn, now it's in the back. It's worse in my back because they closed up their front and just diverted it.
Charles, correct you. What did you think?
I mean, as you said, Mayor, we met with him last week, towards the end of last week, and he's consistent in what he's saying. He's been saying he's going to work on getting it, make some progress in April this month. I think the day we were there, he was waiting for a contractor, and then he was waiting for 2 other estimates.
That's correct.
So, we have all the confidence he's going to
I also talked to your next neighbor, because we went to his door, and then he actually called me up, and I spoke with him too. That would be 1921.
Yeah,
So I spoke with 21, I came to your house, spoke to husband.
Okay.
And so we're on it, and we're also on 17.
Okay.
So
Thank you so much.
But I noticed that even on the other side up the road, I found there's another sump. So there's a lot of sump pumps in that area. I noticed.
We have a sump pump in our basement, but it only runs when it needs to run.
With everything I knew about the village, I didn't learn this until I was mayor. So,
thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
appreciate
folks.
it.
Thanks, sir.
Any other comments?
I said he's not going to need waiters to mow the lawn.
No, that's all right. That's all right. All right, being there's no more comments, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing, please.
Trustee Corrigan?
Motion made by Trustee Corrigan. Can I have a second, please?
Trustee Osborn.
Second made by trustee Osborn, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Charles, want to come up here, please? Charles Sawicki?
Stay there.
Should have just stayed there, Charles? I'm just kidding. No, we didn't.
All right, good evening.
Charles, I'm going to do,
Mayor,
I'm going to do all these issues. You read them off. I'm going to do them all as a consent
Okay,
agenda,
very good.
okay?
Okay, item A, requesting authorization to award bid for the Water Department and wastewater treatment plant chemicals. Item B, requesting authorization to award the refuse and recycling collection container service bid to Donato Morangi, Inc., Valley Cottage, New York, in the amount of $20.64 per unit. Item C, requesting authorization to award the Bon Air Pump Station and motor replacement bid to Longo Electrical Mechanical, Inc., Warrenton, New Jersey, in the amount of $42,500. Item D, requesting authorization for the mayor to sign the Cornell Cooperative Extension 2024 Stormwater 2 Education Program Agreement. Item E, authorization for me to attend the New York State Floodplain and Stormwater Management Association Annual Conference in Glen Falls, New York, from May 7th through May 9th, 2024. Item F, requesting authorization of the professional service proposal from Pittengow and Deutsch for upgrade design of emergency generators for wells, fields 1, 2, and 4, as well as Bon Air Pump Station in the amount of $32,800. Item G, requesting approval to solicit bids for the wastewater treatment plant UV replacement project with a due date of May 21st, 2024 at 10 a.m.
Thank you, Charles. Can I have a motion, please, to, on a consent agenda for items 10A to 10G, please? Motion, please?
Motion, trustee Alpert.
Motion made by trustee Alpert. Can I get a second, please?
Trustee Osborn.
Second made by trustee Osborn. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Is there anything else?
One more thing, Charles. Me and Charles have been working with, in reference to, we see we have a geese problem in the village in certain parks, right? And so what we're doing is we're attempting to, and Charles will explain here in a second, so there's certain contracts you can do, you know, with the government where they pay so much and we pay so much, but waiting for Congress to approve a budget, because we feel that Foxwood Pond has a geese problem, the Suffern Little League ball fields have a geese problem, and so does Memorial by the pool has a geese problem. So we're looking into that, and probably if things go right, we'll vote on something, you know, next month, okay? And Charles, you have a little more to say on that, please?
Yeah, well, it's a USDA program, so the village would enter into an intergovernment agreement with the USDA. They have a proven goose management program, which they would come into the 3 locations that the mayor just described. So it's something that has been an issue for a number of years here in the village, and should address the problem.
Thank you very much, Charles.
Okay. Was there something else? No? No? Okay.
No, I don't think of anything else.
Okay, all right, great, thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Mike Genito, please, treasurer. Keeping you busy today, Mike, you're earning your pay.
That's all right, I need the exercise. Okay, Mayor, we have several resolutions before the board. The very first one is going to require a roll call vote. and this is amending a bond resolution for the PFAS project, whereas we originally authorized $550,000 of debt to finance the project. The project has been evaluated to be more expensive than originally proposed, and it's going to be $950,000. So this is simply amending a previous bond resolution, increasing the debt authorization from $550,000 to $950,000. And again, we need a roll call vote of the board.
I'd like to have a motion amending the bond resolution adopted on October 25th, 2021, relating to the acquisition and installation of PFAS removal system for the village water system. I have a motion, please.
Trustee Corrigan.
Have a second?
Trustee Hogue.
Trustee Hogue. It's all in favor. Now I'm going to do a roll call vote, to the proper way is a roll call vote. Trustee Alpert, please.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Corrigan, please.
Yes.
Trustee Hogue, please.
Yes.
Trustee Osborn, please.
Yes.
And Mayor Curley votes yes. Motion passes.
Thank you, Mayor. The next resolution is regarding the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 funds that we received from the federal government. And essentially, this is just reallocating the funds between the various projects.
I have a motion to amend the project 221-007, ARPA, CL, or RF, please. Motion, please.
Motion, Trustee Alpert.
Motion made by Trustee Albert. Second, please.
Trustee Corrigan.
Second made by Trustee Corrigan. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
The next resolution regards the parking lot B repaving project, which was completed, and as a matter of fact, completed for about $120,000 less than originally anticipated. Originally, the general fund had paid $119,478.32 towards that project, which ultimately wasn't needed. We're asking simply that the money be returned back to the general fund.
A motion to close project for the parking lot B repaving.
Trustee Osborn.
Motion made by Trustee Osborn. Second, please.
Second, Trustee Alpert.
Second by Trustee Albert. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
The next one is just amending that PFOA project, the actual project budget itself, to increase the revenues and the appropriations in the amount of $386,050.
Motion to amend project for the water PFAS removal system. Motion, please.
Trustee Corrigan.
Motion made by Trustee Corrigan. Second, please.
Second, Trustee
Second
Hogue.
made by Trustee Hogue. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And the next resolution regards our project for the West Maple Avenue sidewalks, a project that was completed, and we discovered that we had transferred more money than necessary from our ARPA 21 funds in the amount of $26,000 and change, and we are asking to return those funds back to the ARPA funds for reallocation.
Amend project West Maple Avenue sidewalk, please. Motion, please.
Trustee Osborn.
Motion made by Trustee Osborn. Second, please.
Trustee Corrigan.
Second made by Trustee Corrigan. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And the last resolution that we have before you is one that involves the Village Hall boiler project. This particular project needed the amount of $7,554.37 for some minor things to be completed. And we are asking that the money be transferred from the general fund to that project to complete it.
I have a motion to amend project for the Village Hall boiler, please. Motion, please.
Trustee Corrigan.
Motion made by Trustee Corrigan. I can second, please.
Second, Trustee
Second made
Alpert.
by Trustee Albert. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And one last thing, Mayor and the board. I just want to report to you that part of the American Rescue Act of 2021, the funds were provided to us by the U.S. Treasury. We received over $1.1 million, which has been allocated to various projects. One of the requirements under that is that the village has to report back to the U.S. Treasury at the end of March, everything that was done for the prior year through March 31, and a status of the projects. We were fortunate enough, because of the way we maintain our records, to be able to file that report with the U.S. Treasury on April 1 of 2024, and we have received the certification that they received the report.
Thank you.
Just to let you know, if we didn't do the report or do it on time, it's very likely that the U.S. Treasury would recoup the funds back from us. So,
Very good, Mike. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for the professional expertise work you do. Even it shows when New York State comes down there and spends weeks down here doing an audit on us, and they come back and say, hey, you're better than A-OK. I appreciate the hard work and all the experience you bring to the village. It helps all these board members, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this point, do the trustees have any comments?
So I wanted to ask, what can be done, or where do we stand with Memorial Drive, reopening at some point in the future? Is that
Memorial Drive, I was just on the phone with the drainage agency. So far, as I said, I have $1 million grant. We're waiting to see if we've met with FEMA. Charles has also. We're waiting to see if they'll give us money for that project. And because right now, it's the money they give us is not enough to suffice unless we were going to close it off and just make it a park. And they would do this rip-rap on the rocks, and I've been out there with them. And the head of the drainage agency actually lives in the village of Suffern, and I have a very good relationship with him. But we're waiting to see if we can find any more money, grant for something else, so the taxpayers don't have to pay $1 million out of their pocket. That's really what it comes down to. Okay? Now, you may have also, okay, I'm sorry, anyone else, any other trustee has something to say?
I had one other question also. What about this building? Like, every time we come for a meeting, I see more paint and stuff falling, which I'm sure from water, there's probably a leak in the ceiling or whatever.
Right. As I said in our last meeting, Steve, you're talking about the underpass, correct? Or no?
No, this building, right?
Okay, I'm sorry, I heard you wrong, okay? Well, Fred, I know, has been working on some grants, okay? We had actually, if a different state senator had one, we would have got a grant from him, but he lost. The other guy couldn't give us no money, so we're at a disadvantage there. So, but I think we'll set up a committee, we'll start looking at it. If you want to, we can go ahead and do what we need to do there. I know Charles is looking into different things. He's made different repairs as we go along, just like we got a grant. We just did a new boiler for the building, and we got a grant for that boiler, so, and we just, we try to get as many grants as we can. We try to, reach out to different things. I was with Mike Loughlin, the congressman, this past weekend, and they're coming out with certain things, monies they're giving out, and he said, we're going to be sending it to you this week, and he told me to make sure we put in for it. So he pretty much saying to me, he's going to try to do what he can to help out the village of Suffern, Congressman Loughlin. So in that meeting I had with him this past week, okay?
Great, thank you.
All right. Any other trustee, any other comments?
Mayor, just real quickly, I want to thank you and Mike. This is my first time on this side with a budget, not on that side, which Chief Loughlin can appreciate, Lieutenant Martinez. And I just want to thank you because you made it very easy with the questions, because I had a lot of questions, concerns I wasn't sure of, and you guided us. So thanks for bringing it down to zero. That was through your guidance and answering the questions, which I thought you did a phenomenal job by helping us and guide, I think, all of us, but particularly me, my first rodeo on this side, so thank you.
But at this point, I just want to I want to ask for a motion, because I want to set a public hearing for April 29th, so I need a motion to set a public hearing for April 29th at 7:05 p.m., redefining the village employees authorized to issue tickets for parking violations. Can I have a motion, please?
Trustee Corrigan.
Motion made by Trustee Corrigan. I have a second, please.
Second, Trustee
Second made by Trustee Alpert. Any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. And I also have another motion. I ask for a motion to set a public hearing for April 29th at 7:08 p.m. to adopt a local law under Home Rule Authority to be able to advertise and conduct events that will promote our village. I want to have a way so we can push our village, our downtown, whether it's through different events and where the village has the right to do it and it's all legal to do. So someone will say, oh, you're spending money here. There is a way to do it under home rule law. It's to really just promote our whole village, and that's what I'm looking to do with that. So, could I have a motion, please, to set a public hearing for April 29th at 7 p.m. for a local law under home rule authority to be able to advertise and conduct events that will promote our village. Motion, please.
Trustee Osborn.
Motion made by Trustee Osborn. Second, please.
Second, Trustee
Second made by Trustee Hogue. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes, all right? And I just want to say, we worked with Mr. Genito. We sat down with each department, okay? We kept all the departments strong. We asked them what they needed, what they can do. We talked to Fred Rella about different grants, and we came forth with a strong budget that it stands alone on its own, okay? And I'm proud this board, asked many questions of Mr. Genito, of myself, and this village is in a good financial position. You may have received a rental registry letter recently, okay? A rental registry, if you actually are the homeowner and you live there, you don't have to fill it out. But I've seen, being a former Bronx firefighter, I've seen a lot of places that weren't kept right and in shape and made dangerous situations. For the people that may not know, just for people that move there, and they just don't even know what our laws or our rules are. So I think it's important to educate people. We're looking for compliance, not punishment, and we have an absolute responsibility to protect our firefighters and all first responders from any bad situations. So this letter went out, and I've never seen a response in this village as mayor, or any time as I have so far. Whether it's just questions, wanting to know, happy with it, and people actually sending in their applications. So we're not going to get everyone to follow the rules. But at that point, then we're going to exercise what the law says we can do or not do, okay? But it's for safety of residents, it's for safety of firefighters, first responders, and it's just for quality of life in our village. And Melissa Reimer is the one who's actually in charge of it, and she's doing a fabulous job with it so far. But it's going to be a lot of work, and we can't do it alone. We need the community to help us, and that's why we sent it to every property owner received that letter. So it may not apply to you, but every property owner should got it, okay? I'd like to just mention one more thing. Since this board here, I've been, in the last couple of years here, we have settled 2 contracts already. We've settled the police contract, the PBA, and we settled the Teamsters Union contract with the dispatchers, all right? And we are still in negotiations with the CSCA, okay? We're being fair, we're operating fair, we're still in them, and we will continue as long as they want to keep talking, all right? And we don't negotiate in public, but we are there negotiating, okay? So thank you for your time now. At this point, I'd like to have I think that's it, a motion to close the meeting, please.
Motion, Trustee Alpert.
Motion made by Trustee Alpert. Can I get a second, please?
Trustee Osborn.
Second made by Trustee Osborn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.